Welcome to a video that's going to dive into 5 critical battle card mistakes that you're making that are costing you and your sales team in competitive deals. We all know that when a competitor enters a conversation, an opportunity can easily slip away and sales cycles can be delayed. Battle cards are built to handle these high pressure moments and give your sales team the insights they need to better prepare and better combat competitive threats, but not all battle cards are built equal. In this video, we're going to look at the 5 kind of key reasons why some battle cards fail to deliver. At Playwise HQ, from speaking with our customers, we find that on average, teams with effective battle cards get a 20 to 30% higher win rate. In today's day and age where every opportunity is gold, making sure that you increase your win rate is one of the fastest ways to increase the revenue of your business. It's much easier to work with the opportunities you already have rather than spend money trying to find new leads. So when battle cards fail, revenue does suffer. Obviously, the most pressing one is that win rate. If you can win more deals, revenue goes up. But there are also other hidden effects that come from not having an effective competitive intelligence program or effective battle cards. Firstly, deals can slip or take longer to close, extending sales cycles. You can invite more competition in, which means that you are often forced to discount higher, or at least feel that you have to discount higher in order to win the deal. And because it takes longer to secure that customer, you don't have upsell opportunities that present as quick as if you close that deal 3 or 6 months earlier. However, it's often not a content problem because content exists and it's easy to write content. There's a much more structural reason why sales teams are struggling with the battle cards they have today. So first of all, information overload. Sales reps don't need a 101-page PDF documenting every single thing about a competitor. We've seen some customers come to Playwise HQ and share their existing competitive intelligence program and their existing battle cards, and they're walls and walls of text. In fact, the most interesting one that I've mentioned a couple of times in recent videos is we had a customer come to us where they were sharing the tweet of the competitor's CEO. That might make sense if they were sharing information that can actually add value to a sales team, but the tweets they were sharing in their battle card included things like their ski trip to Aspen. So what reps need is something that's easily to scan, easy to understand, and easy to break down depending on what they're planning to do in that next call or that next meeting. If it's a first call with a prospect, and they know that there's probably 2 or 3 competitors who are likely to come up, or that they want to probe and see if those competitors are also in the mix, then getting that very quick understanding, an up-to-date understanding of that competitor, where they're active, what the strengths are, is very valuable. If it's a deeper conversation, you've been through 1 or 2 meetings, you're doing a demo, you might want to dive deeper into some of the common objections that are going to come up in those late stage deals. So making sure, depending on what the rep is after, that they can find that information really quickly is ultra important. So what's the fix? You need to build your battle cards so that they're scannable, so that they're digestible, and so that reps can very quickly and easily find the section of information that's relevant to them. Second of all is that a lot of battle cards are built once as a project and then forgotten about. So they very quickly become dated. You open up your company's internal intranet, a wiki, whatever it is, and it refers to a battle card, and sometimes it's V1, V2, V3, V4. Which version's the most up-to-date? Which version's current? Which one do you trust? And then when you open it up, you find that that battle card's talking about a new product as if it was released yesterday, but it was released 12 months ago. So not only does that destroy the credibility of your battle card, but the sales rep loses trust in your ability from a sales enablement or competitive intelligence perspective to arm them with the insights that they need. So if they don't trust the battle card, they very much default to their own internal judgment and what they find, which can lead to inconsistency in terms of messaging and also just not prepping your reps with the best possible information that you can. So there's a couple of different ways that you can fix this. First of all, creating a program where battle cards are living, breathing documents. So in Playwise HQ, for example, sales reps can immediately feed intel into the battle card themselves that they're hearing out there in the field. That means that on average, a battle card could be updated every week, or even quicker if you've got a large sales team, making sure that wins and losses against that competitor featured in that battle card. Again, make sure they're up to date and current. Having a cadence in which the battle cards are updated is also very important, but making sure that cadence matches the type of information and the type of messaging that may need to be updated so that it doesn't become a burden. So, for example, a very quick and light review every month is often appropriate, especially if you have these kind of feedback mechanisms that are updating the battle card on a regular basis. Doing a more deeper quarterly review to make sure that pricing, messaging, features, etc. is current. And then a half yearly or annual review for the more strategic kind of long-term big picture objectives or strategies that these competitors are implementing. On top of that, though, layer in event-based updates. So if a competitor releases a new product, if there's a major press release that's going to impact their ability to compete in the market, they come outside of that regular cadence cycle and they get updated, ideally within 48 hours or so. And the rule of thumb I like to think about is that if something happens within that competitor and your sales rep doesn't know about it, could they get embarrassed on the call? So if your competitor has recently dropped their prices significantly, launched a brand new product, and your sales rep was to go on a call and that prospect mentioned, hey, I heard that competitor X just released product Y, and your sales rep doesn't know about it, would they be embarrassed? The answer to that is yes. That's an event-based trigger that you need to bring into your kind of cadence to make sure that the battle card's updated. So third one is battle cards are buried where reps can't find them. I alluded to this a little bit earlier on, but there's, often situations where battle cards are created as PDFs. There's a V1, a V2, a V3, a V4. Some are saved in, a central drive. Others are saved on the sales rep's desktop. Someone asks a question in Slack about the most up-to-date information and they get 3 different answers because there's no central source of truth. So eliminating that kind of bottleneck or that concern is very important. Even if you are still using PDF-based battle cards, make sure that you have a last updated date and remove any versions that are old or no longer current so that people know about this. The ability to very quickly and easily find battle cards, again, if they're in a central location and you can sort and filter by competitor, but also sort and filter by the type of competitor. So in Playwise HQ, for example, you can sort and filter by how you categorize your competitors. Is it a dominant competitor? Is it a niche competitor that competes in a certain industry? Being able to very quickly and easily see the battle cards and competitors that are likely to come up in certain situations is really important. If you can integrate with a CRM, that's fantastic. And in Playwise HQ, we have that capability with CRMs like HubSpot and Pipedrive, where you can collaborate and bring the intelligence into the battle card itself. So what I mean by that is that your CRM is often your source of truth for opportunities or deals and whether they're won or lost. How do you then make sure that as a rep, if I look at a competitor, I want to see what deals we've lost to that competitor right then and there. And with our integrations with CRMs in Playwise HQ, you can do that. You go to competitor A, you go to the win-loss intelligence, and you can see the deals that you've won and lost, and also the reasons why. So now, if I know I'm going to compete against that competitor in a similar industry or for a similar use case, and we've lost 2 or 3 deals in the past, I can see the reasons why. And now when I go and talk to that prospect, I can ask more targeted questions to qualify that deal better and make sure that we get on top of any of those landmines that might be coming up. Equally making sure that the design is easy to use, not only mobile first, but just easy to navigate. If a sales rep has to spend 20 minutes trying to figure something out, it's too long. It's got to be very easy. It's got to be very accessible because more often than not, a sales rep is like, I've got a call in 30 minutes. I've got a meeting in 30 minutes. Let me just spend a little bit of time right now brushing up on that competitor that I think is going to be mentioned or that I know is active in the deal. Mistake number 4, generic overviews instead of strategic weapons. So a lot of battle cards are created by people who sit in sales enablement or competitive intelligence or marketing, and they're creating it from their perspective. They're creating it from the perspective of there's all this information that I need to document, not through the lens of what information is going to be relevant to a salesperson in the moment that they need it. So instead of documenting, for example, all of the features, outline, hey, competitor A has these features, which mean they're strong in these type of deals, and here's how we counteract that. Make it action orientated. on pricing. Don't just say that a competitor is cheaper or more expensive. Is there reasons why they're cheaper or more expensive? Does that then impact how they position themselves in the market? So making sure that the battle card is purpose built for sales reps who actually want to go out there and win deals, because if they open it up again and they just see generic information like competitor A was founded in 1995 and the CEO likes ski in Aspen, that's not relevant. They're not going to use that information. Number 5, building battle cards without measuring the impact. So if you are someone who sits in sales enablement or competitive intelligence team at your organization, how do you make sure that you can articulate to the business ROI of using battle cards? Often your part of the organization is seen as a cost center, a support center, but that's not really the case. Sales enablement, competitive intelligence teams should be driving ROI, and the only way to do that is to make sure that the content that you create and the programs that you put in place actually can tie back to outcomes in your business. So, what was the win rate against a competitor before and after a battle card? How often was that battle card referenced by a sales rep? When battle cards are referenced by sales reps, does the win rate against that competitor increase? Do you discount less? Are the sales cycles shorter? All of these questions can create an ROI and really make sure that you can articulate back to the business the value of your competitive intelligence program. Not only that, you can then also go to other reps who aren't using the battle cards in the business and say, hey, look, your colleagues X, Y, and Z leverage this battle card. And when they do, we've found out that their win rates increase by 20%. We've found that they discount 30% less. And we found that the sales cycle goes from 9 months on average to 6 months on average. Wouldn't you also want that as a sales rep? So that's the kind of impact you need to be measuring. So the fix is really to treat battle cards as a revenue driver and not just a static piece of content that is published once and never updated or used again. So that essentially is the kind of 5 critical mistakes that kill battle card effectiveness: the information overload, the outdated intel, poor accessibility, generic content, and no measurement. If you're looking to start your competitive intelligence program today, Playwise HQ offers a completely free tier. You can go and get started and see just how effective battle cards in Playwise HQ can be. And if you're after more details on this particular topic, the pinned comment below will include a more detailed blog post on this information.